Welcome to the show. You're one-on-one with Wes the Sports Guy here on YouTube and online all the time at westhesportsguy.com. As you can see, there is a temporary new space that I am in right now that I am ecstatic to come back and discuss the many different things that are going on in sports as we are getting ramped up for football season. As you can tell, I got the hat, I got the jersey, one of the jerseys, I got another hat behind me, I've got some Angel stuff here to my right, actually, as I'm trying to get everything coordinated with the new space. This is just temporary because there will be another space coming in the very near future. I am ecstatic and cannot wait to share that with you when the time comes in the very near future. But as we go into the new and improved, you could say, version of the show, as it is called One-on-One with yours truly, Wes the Sports Guy, I do appreciate you keeping the check in at westhesportsguy.com. Use that hashtag OneOnOneWes as well as we get into the football season coming up. Baseball postseason is going to be starting before you know it. We're almost in September. Dog days of summer are just about over with, and we also go into what will be the NHL and NBA seasons as well. westhesportsguy.com, make sure you bookmark that site for football previews, hockey, basketball previews when those seasons get underway, and also with the baseball postseason. I'll be talking a lot of baseball as well at westhesportsguy.com. Make sure you bookmark that site. Before we get into actual sports topics, going into the new refreshed version of this show, I do want to discuss one thing that is dearly important right now as I started the show and as we get into bigger and better things that I want to do with this show. There is something very troubling, I could say disturbing, that was happening as we started getting into summer, and that was the quote-unquote hashtag Vox Edpocalypse. And I did make a tweet voicing my displeasure with it and my concerns with what YouTube was beginning to do and has been doing incrementally since, with channels that had nothing to do with the little spat between an so-called journalist with Vox and Steven Crowder, who does a 4-night-a-week comedy show on his own platform, which is louderwithcrowder.com. If you'd like to go check that out and get a good laugh every once in a while, you can go there, or you can go to blazetv.com and make a subscription and join his mug club, as he calls it. So it's very troubling in the sense that, basically summing it up, Crowder did some rebuttal videos to a Vox journalist, and I put that in quotations because he's not really a journalist, but regardless, he took offense to the rebuttal videos that Steven Crowder was doing for him, and in the sense that he was calling him names. It's a comedy show. First and foremost, that's what Steven Crowder is. I am not here to defend Steven Crowder, but just to give you a bit of a backstory of it, Crowder is a comedian. It's a comedy show. That's what he does. He will rebut you on your supposed facts of a certain video, and it wasn't just this guy that he's done rebuttal videos for. He's done it for Vice. He's done it for other personalities that either have YouTube shows or it's media conglomerates. He's done rebuttal videos for tons of people. You can look at his catalog if you want on YouTube. Although, quick backstory as well on that, he's removed some videos from YouTube because of the results of the Vox Edpocalypse that ended up happening. But regardless, the whole point of this is that the policies of YouTube are starting to restrict other content providers on YouTube that had nothing to do with this spat between Vox and Steven Crowder. That is a huge problem because you cannot just unilaterally go after certain things that people post on YouTube because of one supposed incident between two providers. Cannot do that. YouTube went above and beyond what was even asked of them to do, but yet it wasn't enough for Vox and this person. Now I'm going to put the tweet up here that I tweeted myself, in that my concerns and what everybody should be thinking about, as you can read on the screenshot that I put of my tweet back in June 6th to be exact, as you can see. Quote, "As a tiny content creator who focuses on a completely different subject, I am strongly opposed to what Vox. Now, the Twitter handle of this person is Carlos Maza, but he has his Twitter handle as Gay Wonk. That's his choice. And the rest of their ilk have and are currently doing hashtag Vox Edpocalypse. And you can see the subtweet of Steven Crowder's, where he absolutely factually says YouTube is going after independent YouTube creators and their livelihood, journalists, educators, podcasts. And they just don't want us to think about it. They don't want us to confront this. Now, there was huge backlash, obviously. It's not just from me. There was a lot of a backlash from other content providers, and the facts became apparent that YouTube unilaterally going after people that were, again, there was one channel that was just posting historical footage of World War II, what was happening in then Nazi Germany, and the occupation that they had in almost all of Europe at that time. Actual factual footage, and it was for history, to learn something from history, and YouTube flagged that channel in the result of all this. That's just one example of dozens that it affected at that time, and I almost had to make a video at the time to basically put forth my 2 cents. I know a tweet doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. You look at what's happening now in the last couple weeks. Twitter is just a cesspool of garbage nowadays. I don't use it very often. I'm using it for different purposes, the purposes of what its original intent when I started getting on Twitter and I interacted with, the sports figures mainly. I'm not interacting with politicians. I'm not interacting with celebrities. It's the sports figures. That's the reason why I got into it, and I was interacting with them. It was great. It's a great tool. It still is a good tool, but it's being twisted and manipulated into something that it's not. At least I didn't think it was ever going to be used for something like what it is right now, which is just a cesspool. It's a sewer. It's everybody and their mother can get on it and say whatever they want. That is your First Amendment right. You can do that as long as you are not making a call to action is the legal term. You're not calling for violence. You're not calling for somebody to be doxxed. I would say if you're doxing people too, that is pretty close to calling for violence, because you don't know what the people are that might act on something like that. It's a crazy world we're in right now, which seems like it. And this is the good that's coming out of this discussion right now. And the reason why I'm getting it out of the way to start, I'll get into sports stuff next week and so on for the foreseeable future, hopefully. But the good thing that's coming out of this is that there is a lot of kindness in this world. There is so much of it. It doesn't seem like we get to see it very often, but it's there. We do have to kind of dig a little deeper to find it, but it's out there. It seems like there are so many bad things happening in this world, and even just in your country. But you step outside, you enjoy the weather, whether it's a sunny day, a cloudy day, a gray day, it might even be a rainy day or a snow day. You enjoy it nonetheless. There's plenty of good out there. And one of the reasons why I do this show is to bring some feel-good stories at the end of each episode. And I have a couple for you today that I will share in a moment. And there's a saying called kill them with kindness. And of course, when you say to kill them with kindness, that doesn't literally mean I'm going to get you. But I'm going to throw so much kindness at you that you won't know what to do other than kind of be, take a step back and be shocked and realize, wait a minute, you're telling me, or your interaction with me is something completely different than I'm used to. Whether or not you're having a bad day, it's a bad point in your life, whatever the case may be, I want to shower you with so much kindness that the only thing that you can do in return is return that kindness. And there's another saying, you turn that frown upside down. I get a great feeling when I either make somebody's day, make somebody's moment, minute, hour, whatever the case may be. I get joy out of that. And I'm not going out of my way to try to do it, but that's just, it's natural to me. And there's millions of people, billions of people, we could say, that are like that on a day-to-day basis. There's a lot of kindness in this world. We focus on what is the big news story of the day, And we tend to always forget in that moment how good the world really is. And I want to bring that to you more often. I give you feel-good stories of the week, sports or not. I give it to you every single week because I want to keep that kindness alive. It's there. You do have to dig a little further for it, unfortunately, but it is there. And we just need to focus on that a little bit more than what is the bad right now. There's plenty of that, but there's more good than anything. And as I get into the feel-good stories of the week, I will start with Baker Mayfield, who decided to stay a little longer when it came to signing autographs and taking pictures with the servicemen and women of our armed forces at Browns camp.
This is for your biggest fan in Oklahoma. He lives in Ada. I'm going to send it to him today. Get it. Thank you. Can I get the
Thanks, Baker. Thanks for staying.
Thanks, boss. I forgot you know how to take care of my wife, man.
She's a huge fan. And she, when your picture came out with the stash, she's like, yeah, I'm digging yours. Good.
Yeah, finally someone like it.
Get the ball.
Anything else you want to ask for, Dan?
That is a great moment, and I love the way Baker Mayfield plays the game of football. I also love that he is doing stuff like that, even at a point in the season where it's going to start getting ramped up, getting ready for the new year with the Cleveland Browns, who look like they could be Super Bowl contenders. I'm not saying that's what I believe at this moment in time, but a lot of Cleveland Brown fans are excited, and that is one reason right there with Baker Mayfield. I salute you as a Niner fan. He's looking like a keeper. He's just a great all-around person. He's a hell of a quarterback right now. The sky's the limit for him. The last feel-good story of the week comes from an 11-year-old boy in El Paso, and I'm just going to... I have this tweet screenshot from his mother. Quote, "My 11-year-old came to me with an idea. He challenges all El Pasoans to commit 20 random acts of kindness, one for every person that was killed in our city's mass shooting. Let's get this done, El Paso." And as you can see, it said 20 random acts of kindness for each victim that was killed. It is now 22, unfortunately. One is too many, obviously, but then 2 more people had passed after this original tweet by his mother. It is heartbreaking to see what was happening there at that point in time with El Paso and Dayton. But as I said, there are many great stories of kindness that were coming out of those tragedies. And Ruben Martinez, I give you a massive salute on this. It is a great idea. Hashtag El Paso Challenge. I will have this linked in or on my Facebook page. You can go there and see this story linked where you can spread the hashtag. It's a great idea, and we all need to get behind this. And that just goes to my original point with this video this week is spread kindness. Be kind to everybody, no matter what. And in that story, it's little things. It doesn't have to be paying for somebody's groceries or anything like that. It could just be just a warm welcome, a warm hello, random acts of kindness, 22 every day. Let's keep that going, keep that alive. Hashtag El Paso Challenge. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you next week here on YouTube, one-on-one with yours truly, Wes the Sports Guy. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. Use the hashtag one-on-one Wes as well to participate in the conversations. Until then, I will see you next time.